Hello, this is Ms. DB, and in this video we're going to review how to do the 4.1 assignment in the Week 9 folder. So if you're working in Part 2 weeks 9 through 16, then you will go to the Week 9 folder and click on the title to enter the folder. And then there's a week overview. There's a link to the journals, so you can reintroduce yourself in that journal, or introduce yourself if you're new. For each chapter, you can take notes for extra credit. So you can just take notes. You can open up a Word document and take notes in there as you go, or you can do it in notebook paper. And then when we're done with the quarter, which in this one will be in week 11, then you'll submit those notes to get possible extra credit. So when you take your notes, make sure that you are writing down definitions, theorems, postulates, that's supposed to say sketches, examples, anything you think that would help you out when you're taking a quiz or a test to be able to look back at and refer on. And when you submit them, you'll probably be taking pictures of your work and submitting them that way. That's the only time where it's okay to submit a picture, a JPEG, or of your work rather than a PDF or a Word document. Because with notes, it's probably just the easiest way to do it. You could also take those pictures, those JPEGs, and paste them into a blank Word document if you only want one document to submit. And then these are videos that go along with your textbook. So each section has one short video for each example in the book. So as you're reading the book, you'll see that it's arranged by different examples. And these videos follow along and show one of the authors from the book actually solving problems that are similar to that. So these can be very helpful, and that's one way to learn the information that is in each section. Another way to learn the information is to watch this long video that I have made. Well, the first one's not very long, but this is an overview of the section, and it's quite complete and thorough. And then the second way to, if you want to get some extra help, right here there will be a video link that I'm making that video right now that will go over how to do some of the problems that are actually on your worksheet. So that's the way to get some extra help. So first, read through the section in your book. That gives you a good overview. And then second, watch the video of me doing some of the problems from your worksheets and explaining as I go. If you want to try this on your own, if you're, feeling pretty confident about this, then either watch this longer video up here. Here's the link again. Or you can watch those videos from your text. That would be a good overview. Or you can just simply read through the section in your book if you're good at reading math books. And then after that, try the worksheet. So you have two options there of how you want to proceed. So once you have overviewed this information, then you're ready to go to the worksheet. There's two versions of the worksheet, a PDF or a Word document. The PDF you cannot type on. It's only for printing and then writing by hand, or using it for like a textbook, looking at the problems and then writing them on your own paper. But the other one, the Word document, you can type right on. So that's the one that I'm going to open up now. So here's the Word document for 4.1. Now remember, you should have already read this section in your book. There are some information and examples on the worksheet, but it's not complete. It's not meant to replace reading the information in your book. So as we go through the worksheet, we've got our objective here is to classify triangles by angle measures and side lengths, and to use triangle classification to find missing side length or angle measures. The first part of this is pretty basic. These are some things you'd want to put in your notes just to make sure you've got it. But we have an acute triangle, equal angular triangle. We don't use that phrase a lot, but that's what it's called. It has three congruent acute angles, so they're all equal to each other. We have a right triangle and an obtuse triangle, which has one obtuse angle. We can also classify triangles by side length, so those were equilateral, isosceles, or scalene. So your first job is to classify these triangles by both side length and by angle measure. So remember, by side length is going to be equilateral, isosceles, or scalene. So you pick one of those for each triangle. And then for angle measure, there's 4 to pick from. And you pick one of those and you put that for the second answer. All right, then the next one, this one gets a little bit trickier. It says use the figure to classify each triangle by angle measure. Now the trickier part is the finding the right triangle, because there's actually 3 triangles in this one triangle. There's DGE, there's GEF, and then there's the big triangle of DGF. So we need to make sure we know which triangle they're talking about before we classify by its angle measures. So DFG, here's D, here's F, and here's G. So DFG refers to the whole triangle. So you might want to, if you're working on your own paper, trace this out so you know for sure what triangle we're talking about. And then they want us to determine, classify it by its angle measure. So let's look at the angles. Angle D is 54. Angle G, this means that it's a right angle, it's 90 degrees, and then angle F is 36. So you need to go back up to the angle classifications, which is this one, and determine whether it's acute, equiangular, right, or obtuse. And then pick the right answer and put it right here. So for the next triangle, this one I'll do in a different color. DEG, here's D again, here's E, and here's G. So this triangle is referring to, here's the blue lines refer to that triangle. So this is no longer a right angle, angle G. Now it's some other degree. I don't know for sure what it is, but we do know that one angle is 54, one is 68, so you can decide if it's a obtuse, acute, right, or equiangular. And then the last angle says EFG. Here's E, here's F, and here's G, so that's referring to this one down here. Now in order to find this missing angle, we might need to find that for this one. There is 180 degrees in every triangle if you add your 3 angles together. So we might need to find that missing angle to determine if this is acute or obtuse. So you would just take 180 and subtract the other angles. So I think that said 32 and that was 36. So add the 32 and 36 together and then subtract that from 180 to find out if this is obtuse angle, which is greater than 90, or acute, which would be less than 90. Okay, in the next section, you're going to classify by side lengths. So side lengths are going to be either equilateral, isosceles, or scalene. And you, again, have to be very careful that you are finding the answer for the correct triangle. So EGF, here's EGF, is this triangle down here. Now, to determine whether it's isosceles, equilateral, or scalene, look at how the side lengths are marked. We have that EG is marked with 1 little tick mark, and EF is also marked with 1 tick mark. That means that these are congruent side lengths. These are congruent segments. So then the bottom one, GF, is marked with 2 tick marks, so it is not congruent to either of those. So this first one would be isosceles, because it has 2 congruent sides. And then for DEF, that's DEF, we have that 1 is marked with 1 mark, 1 is marked with 2, and this one's not marked. So we need to find out, is this the same as either EF or FD? Well, how do we know? We know that EF is the same as EG, and they're both 13. So this one's 13. We know that GF is 20, and it's marked with 2 tick marks, and this one is also marked with 2 tick marks, so it's also 20. So if this is 13 and this is 14 and this is 20, then this is not isosceles, it's not equilateral, so it must be scalene. And then the last one, DFG, is the whole triangle, and you can determine from the way that they're marked, and with now you'll have the side measurements, you'll be able to determine what kind of triangle that is. All right, then the next question asks you to find examples in your home or community of these kind of triangles. You can either take a picture and upload the picture, just copy and paste it into here, that would be cool, or you can look around and just find examples. Now I'm just looking around my room right now, and I can see my front door from where I'm sitting, and it has several right triangles built into the decorative glass. So I would just write that, I think I'd just say front door decorative glass. Decorative glass or window or something. And it has little right triangles. It kind of looks like this. I think I have a picture of it somewhere else in the course to show an example of. But the corners have these little glass, bevel glass things. I don't know. So those are the right triangles. But it would be neat if you could find to add a picture too. All right, and it says at least 3. So if there's one you need to skip because you just can't find it, that's fine. Then the next section, this is just a multiple choice question to name this triangle. There's more than one way to name it, of course. And then here we're going to get to some algebra practice, some review here. So the first one says, this example says find the side lengths of the triangle. Well, JK is marked 4x minus 1.3, and it has 1 tick mark. And LK also has 1 tick mark and is written as x plus 3.2. These two sides are congruent to each other because they're given, they're marked with a tick mark, so we can set their expressions equal to each other. And then we solve the equation as you learned how to do in algebra, subtract x from both sides, and we get 3x equals, oh, they already added the 1.3 to both sides as well. They did 2 steps in one. So 3x equals 4.5, divide by 3, and you get what x is equal to. Now that's not what they asked. They asked us to find the side lengths of the triangle. So once you know what x is, you're going to plug that back in to each of these expressions, and you will get 3 different side lengths, and you should label what those sides are and then what the side lengths are. And that's exactly what you're going to do on the next few problems on your worksheet. So you start by, this one has a lot of details for how you're going to do this. Start by looking for sides that have equal lengths because they're marked or given as such. Then write an equation and solve for the variable, and then plug the value of that variable back in and find each side length. Let's do number 13 together. So in 13 we have triangle ABC, and right away I'm going to look for side lengths that are congruent, which are equal, which is this one and this one. AB is congruent to BC. AB is congruent to BC, so their lengths are equal. So the equation that I'm going to write is going to put these two expressions equal to each other. So we have 3x plus 4 is equal to x plus 6. And now we're going to solve that equation. So to solve, I need to collect my variables on the same side. So I would get 2x plus 4 is equal to 6, and then undo the plus 4 by subtracting 4 from both sides, and I get 2x equals 6 minus 4 is 2, and then divide both sides by 2 to undo the multiplication, and I get x equals 1. Now that I know what x is, I'm going to plug that value in here, here, and here in order to find what each side length is equal to. So for AB, I would take 3x plus 4, but now I know that x is 1, so then that's going to be 3 times 1 plus 4, and 3 times 1 is 3, plus 4 is 7. So AB is equal to 7. And you should show enough work on your worksheets so that I can see where your mistake would be. So if you got x equals 3, then I'll be able to go back and say, oh, you forgot to subtract 4 from both sides here, or whatever your mistake was. For BC, I'm going to put 1 right here, and 1 plus 6 is equal to 7. Now I got the same answer for AB and BC, and I should have because this is an isosceles triangle and these two sides are marked congruent to each other. So that's good that I got the same thing. And for AC, I have 2 times 1 plus 2. So 2 times 1 is 2 plus 2. This side I get 4. And now I've solved for each side length, and I'm ready to move on to the next one. In 14, this is an equilateral triangle. I can tell that because every side is marked with 1 tick mark. So I only have these two sides as expressions, so that's my equation that I would write. That 5x minus 1 equals 4x plus 1. When you solve for side AB, you won't be able to do that one first. You'll have to find either BC or AC first. they will all be the same length. So once you find one of them, you'll know what that one is, even though there's no expression written for it. Then there's a application problem that you're going to figure out how many earrings can be made from a piece of wire that is 50 centimeters long. And then the last question says, what is the side length of an equilateral triangle with a perimeter of 36 2/3? You need to divide this by 3. So be careful doing that. And that's it for this worksheet. So when you're done with your worksheet, either make sure that it's either a Word document or a PDF. Either one works fine. And then you'll go back to the assignment. And to submit your assignment, you click on the title, and it brings you to a box where you can attach your work. So right here, this is the section you'll be doing. You'll go to Browse My Computer, you'll find your assignment, double click on it, and then it'll get attached. And once it's attached, you click on Submit here. And that's it for this video. So have a good day. Please let me know if you get stuck or have any questions.